All right, let's just jump right in. We are heading straight into a Roman courtroom in Caesarea. And what we're about to witness is honestly one of the most strategic and brilliant legal defenses you'll ever come across. The Apostle Paul is on trial for his life. And in this explainer, we are breaking down his absolute masterclass in apologetics from Acts chapter 24.
But first, before we get to Paul, I want you to just put yourself in his shoes for a second. Imagine it, your life, your freedom. Your entire reputation is hanging by a thread. The prosecution has just finished their takedown, and now it's your turn. What do you do? What's your move? Because that is the exact high-stakes reality Paul is facing.
And believe me, the charges are no joke. The prosecution, led by this lawyer Tertullus, they basically accuse Paul of being a public menace, a ringleader of a rogue sect, and, get this, of trying to desecrate the temple. So you've got sedition, heresy, sacrilege. I mean, these are politically charged, explosive accusations.
Now, what's so fascinating is the clash of styles right from the get-go. On one hand, you have Tertullus, who's all smooth talk, flattery, and these kind of vague, nasty accusations. And then you have Paul. His strategy, well, it's the polar opposite. He's calm, he's respectful, he sticks to verifiable facts, and his theological points are just crystal clear.
Okay, so let's break down his defense. We can think of it in 3 acts. Act 1, dismantling the lies. This is where he just takes their case apart, piece by painful piece.
So Paul gets up to speak. And how does he start? Not with fear, not with anger. The text says he begins cheerfully. Now that's not him being naive, right? This is a total power move. It's a strategic choice. He shows the governor respect, and right away he sets this tone of confident composure that's just such a stark contrast to the venom coming from the other side.
And then he goes straight for the jugular of their main argument, this idea that he's some professional troublemaker. And how does he do it? It's so simple but so effective. A timeline. He's like, look, I've only been in town for 12 days. I came here to worship. He points out he was found in the temple, ceremonially clean, by himself, no crowd, no disturbance. See what he's doing? He's using hard facts to fight their vague slander.
And this is where it gets really good. After laying out his timeline, he basically turns to the prosecution and throws down the gauntlet. He's essentially saying, okay, you've made all these wild claims, so where's the proof? Show me the evidence. And this is just a brilliant legal move, he points out a huge problem for them. The people who actually started this whole mess, the ones who first accused him, they're not even here. They didn't even show up to testify. He basically says, shouldn't they be here if they actually have a case against me? I mean, talk about exposing a giant hole in their argument.
So, once he's completely taken apart their factual claims, Paul does something amazing. He pivots. He shifts the entire conversation from defending his actions to proclaiming his beliefs. And right here, this is the moment his legal defense transforms into a powerful testimony.
Remember how they called his faith a sect, trying to make it sound like some fringe cult? Well, Paul just owns it, but he completely reframes it. He calls it the way. And he argues that the way isn't some new religion. No, it's the fulfillment of his Jewish heritage. He's not inventing something, he's walking the path his own ancestors' God prepared.
And check out how he supports this. He says, look, I worship the same God you do. I believe everything written in the law and the prophets. And then he brings up the hope of the resurrection, something he knows many of his accusers, the Pharisees, also believe in. It's brilliant. He's finding common ground, showing them that his faith is a continuation of theirs, not a cancellation. Then he takes it a step further. He connects what he believes to how he lives. He says, so why do I live this way? Why do I try so hard to keep my conscience clear before God and people? It's because of his hope in the resurrection. That hope is what drives him. It's an incredible defense of his character, basically saying, my theology dictates my ethics.
Okay, so everything has been building to this. This is Act 3, the climax. After shredding their lies and reframing his faith, Paul pushes all his chips to the center of the table. He is about to risk his entire case on one single game-changing idea.
He looks right at the court and he challenges them. He says, tell me, what crime did you find me guilty of when I stood before your own council? He lets that hang in the air. Unless it was for this one thing I shouted. Boom! There it is. It is concerning the resurrection of the dead that I am on trial before you today. In that one sentence, he does 2 genius things at once.
First, he proves this whole thing is a religious squabble, right? A theological debate, not a criminal case for a Roman court. And second, he proclaims the absolute core of the gospel in front of everyone. He literally turns the witness stand into a pulpit.
So, let's bring this home. What does all this mean for us, right now? Paul's defense, even 2,000 years later, isn't just history. It's a powerful blueprint.
I mean, look at this playbook he gives us. It's so practical. Start with respect, don't come out swinging, argue with facts, use clear evidence to push back on lies, center everything on your core hope, the gospel message, and don't be afraid to make people back up their claims. Challenge them for proof.
When you boil it all down, here's what Paul teaches us. Any situation, even a trial for your life, can become a platform for the truth. He didn't just play defense, he went on offense with the gospel. He shows us that sometimes our biggest challenges can actually be our greatest opportunities.
And that really leaves us with one last thing to chew on. If it were you, if your faith was on trial and everything else was stripped away, what would be your central defense? What's that one core truth you'd stake everything on? What, for you, is the resurrection of the dead?